in 1804. Way earlier than you think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the Jacquard loom. It was a punch card written for a textile loom that had a card with holes in it that would help weave a pattern in it, and it changed the pattern, like the necessity of time from weeks to like hours that you could make something on a loom. That was the first functioning computer.
Huh.
And I'm Cameron.
If you want to talk about that fun fact,
You should use the hashtag Geeks Corner on the internet, mostly Twitter, and we'll talk back at you, maybe.
directly at your face.
Probably.
We appear like this with snap magic,
We hope so.
and we talk to your face.
That is
Snap magic.
correct.
So Thanos or Crowley, which one has the best snap magic?
Just snap and we appear.
I thought Mr. DAPs had good snap magic
He has
back in the
decent
day.
snap magic.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
He was okay.
It's the opposite of Thanos.
So tonight is the last
So-
episode of...
Tonight's the last episode of season 8.
Good job. Last episode of season 8. Next week we will have the first episode of...
Season 9.
13.
Very good.
No, 13's my season.
So if you want to contribute into what happens next week, let us know. Hashtag Geeks Corner, and we will be taking requests.
We'll be listening.
We'll be listening,
We'll be
reading,
listening.
all the above, coming up with crazy, wacky things.
Always watching.
Speaking of always watching, this last week, Ralph Breaks the Internet had a new trailer come out along
Wow, that segue was good.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
I'm proud of that one.
Yeah, that was
Once
nice.
in a while, you just open the door, and I'm like, I can walk
he
right
goes-
through that. Yes. Anyway, Ralph and Vanellope go into the internet. We find a little bit more about the backstories for them and what their motivations are. Did you both watch the trailer? Cameron watched the trailer. What'd you think of it, Cameron?
It seems still pretty formulaic.
I actually think it got more formulaic with
Yeah.
this trailer.
I feel like I know 90% of the movie already. That's not to say I won't enjoy it when it comes out. But I feel like we've seen most of the big jokes, and I feel like we've seen most of the plot, and there's going to be some kind of endearing I'm bad and that's good line that's going to also be at the core of it, and that's probably the only thing we haven't seen.
Don't forget the part where Vanellope's game changes by the time she gets back, and it's even better than
Suddenly
it was
better,
before.
and you've got the piece that works, but you didn't need the piece. The piece was in you all along. Right.
That's the line. I will say that I wrote the article for Imagine Dragons put out the end credits song. And just in writing that article, I was like, oh, cool, I know the whole movie now. Because the song is about, like, finding yourself and finding where you belong. And in the press release, it talked about how, like, the movie discusses how Ralph and Vanellope, they, like, discover their differences, and Ralph discovers that he has to be like himself. And I was like, okay, so that's the whole movie. Like, in writing that, I was like, I know what happened.
What was the name of that virus that took over the internet last year and like destroyed a bunch of stuff?
The Katie virus? Was that the Katie virus?
Sure.
Unfortunately.
No. There was another one, but I just had this image as you were saying that. It's like, oh, so Ralph is going to literally go and break the internet and become this huge virus that destroys everything.
And he goes, I'm gonna wreck it, because remember that's the thing he
Yeah.
says.
Oh, what?
See, that would be an interesting movie. Is
So
if,
what you're saying is you're hoping the film Fight Club, which is to say that the previews have absolutely nothing to do with the actual movie.
I would
Absolutely.
die.
That'd be very good.
that would make me so happy.
Ralph's middle name is Tyler.
I would truly love to be completely surprised in a movie.
Yeah, like you get about 20 minutes into the movie, and then slowly half the characters on screen start fading away to dust.
Because Thanos snaps.
Because Thanos snaps.
it is in the same universe as Infinity War.
And that's just revealed.
And that's, yeah, so...
Which, by extension, the entire Disney universe is in that world.
yeah.
So half of the Disney
So
universe.
people start disappearing, and they go, what happened? And they look outside the screens, and there's Thanos. Whoa, crazy.
And there's a bunch of like clips from all the different Disney. I've been staring at.
Oh.
Like, wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Up here.
also...
This is a better
also,
movie.
And you know who actually ends up saving the day? It's not Doctor Strange. It's Merlin.
obviously.
What's wrong here? Kicks in the door.
Prestidigitatorium. Poof.
That would be so good. Doctor Strange would be like, I've been studying for a couple
Fidgetus.
years. I got this.
That'd be
I
so.
can turn into a fish.
No, he goes, I've seen every possible outcome, and there's only one way to win this. Merlin busts in the door. He goes, it was not that.
Wrong.
That would be funny. Yeah.
So
like
that's
Disney
Merlin
get at
as
us.
a
Let me get
squirrel.
the right story.
That would
right.
that'd be the ultimate mashup.
Yep.
They're already
we
doing
should
a little
write a
bit.
movie.
No, we shouldn't. No, no.
But it could be the start of a new Geeks Corner segment that is Geeks
Pitch a
Corner
movie?
movies. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, listen. Follow me on
This
this.
is it.
So
Picture
listen.
this.
I want to talk strategy.
Yeah, let's move on from this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why does it say Les Mis on my notes?
Ooh,
Oh, there's why. Okay.
Never
Never mind. They sometimes give me notes in the notes, and so I thought I was like being told, but now Maddie's turning red, and this is fun.
When the beating
It's all good. All right, this last week,
Next.
actually today, on Blu-ray and 4K, Solo: A Star Wars Story came to Target and everywhere else you can buy it, Amazon. Last week it was on digital HD. We reviewed it. Some of us actually finished the film, and
I had an emergency in another galaxy.
far, far
I
away.
had an emergency with
But
coffee.
anyway, Solo: A Star Wars Story. This is a great time to talk again about the newest Star Wars film.
That's still the newest. I don't know why that feels like so much
It's
longer.
going to be the
No, it
newest
does.
for another year and 2 months.
Weird.
And we will get TV shows, but that's not the same thing. So, Solo: Star Wars Story now is available to everyone to watch at home, and I will lead off this time. And I actually enjoyed it way more watching it this time around than in the theaters. Like, I enjoyed it in the theaters, but I caught so much more this time around. And now that I've said that, thoughts on Solo? Cameron, go.
I will agree. There's a lot more happening in the movie than I was able to catch in the theatrical release.
Even in the sound effects.
I mean, yeah, there's just a ton going on. One thing that really early on caught me, and then kind of spoke into the rest of my experience, is there's good explanation and bad explanation, and we could talk for a while about the bad explanation of over-explaining Solo's stuff in this film. That's a different conversation. But there was a lot of good explanation. For example, I liked, in the first 5 minutes, you're driving through like this like shipyard, and they show a storage technique of TIE fighters that's stacking that makes their shape reasonable. And it's like, it was just this huge moment of like, oh, no wonder they're shaped that way. That's how they get them to the war front. And then there's a big stack. It was just a very simple thing in the background that I went, so smart.
Good call.
Very smart.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it a second time.
What'd you
That's-
think about it, though?
I liked Solo. Like, it's a fun movie. And that's why I'm excited to watch it the second time, because all I took away from it the first time was that it was fun. But I want it to be more than fun.
Yep.
I think also once we've watched it a couple more times, there's a really interesting conversation about who's villains and who aren't villains in that film. Because I had my initial thoughts the first time we watched it, and I'm not going to do any spoilers, so don't worry, Bailey. And interesting. But I just started looking at Twitter and it
Dangerous
distracted
thing.
me. Yes. But anyway, I think there's some really interesting discussions you could have about lead characters on if they're villains or not. And that's not just one of them. There's probably 3 or 4 of them that we could really have that discussion with, but especially in the core group.
I mean, Key Ra's
That's the one I'm thinking of.
alone, my goodness.
Is fascinating and incredible.
I actually kudos. It's Amelia Clark's the
Amelia
actress
Clark.
name. The subtlety she put in that performance that I just didn't capture when we watched it in theaters. I mean, there is a lot going on with that character, and it was a very good performance. More than I originally realized.
Especially as we've moved forward and watched it again, it took a whole new level. They had a good collection of bonus features, and I think I'm the only one that watched them all, but that's fine. We watched the round table, and I'm just going to go on record. I think every movie should have this bonus feature.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like, it was Ron Howard and the cast sitting around the gambling table.
Specifically, every film should have Ron Howard leading a discussion.
Ron Howard is so
so
delightful.
He's so excited
Good
about
word.
being there.
It's a good word.
It's delightful. He's like, I'm with my friends that I look up to, and they're Star Wars
That's just 'cause
characters,
it's
and I
Chewie.
got to work with them.
They set him
Well-
right next to the guy who plays Chewie, and he's just.
But even Amelia, he's smaller than her. Like, he looked smaller than
He's a tiny
everybody
man.
at the table. I didn't realize how short he was, but it was a really delightful performance or conversation that they had around this table about all sorts of different things that happened in the film, and I thought they handled it really well in the regards of the director change. Like, they don't absolutely hit it. Later, we were watching part of it before the show, And at the end of it, there's actually a moment where they flat out thank him for really, like, and what I was reading into that moment was just like, you came in and saved the day.
Yeah.
And it really was cool because you see him looking up to all of them, and they just clearly adore him and really view him as kind of their savior in regards to this movie. And it was really a pleasant moment to watch. But I think, can you imagine if we had that with like Avengers? Like
yeah,
the round table?
That'd be a bigger table.
Yeah, but who cares? It'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be
Really
good. It'd be really fun.
They did the
Don
direct-
Cheadle alone. I mean, oh.
Well, and they did the Marvel Directors Roundtable, which was pretty cool. But that's I think you could go even further with it.
And that was one thing Howard highlighted a lot at this particular roundtable that I would be interested in seeing other films, was asking more about, from the actor's perspective of their character, their thoughts on both their character and other characters within the universe. Wonderful acting exercise stuff that is done in theater a lot, but doing it in this setting was great to hear. Donald Glover talking about Lando's perspective of Han.
It was very
the
fun.
universe was great.
And it's very much something you'd almost expect to find at a Comic-Con or a Celebration or D23 Expo, but very enjoyable to watch. I'm going to hit some tweets real quick.
Hit him.
For some reason, you're going to be crying yourself to sleep tonight. It says we'll send you tissues, Cameron.
What?
I would be crying.
Oh, Bailey says, I want to know why Les Mis was in the notes. Also, now I'm going to be stuck singing Les Mis all night. So
One day more.
yes.
The day another.
Well, if you
And I knew you saw it, Bailey. I just knew you also like us to really be upfront about spoilers. So I wasn't indicting you for not seeing Solo.
Spoilers.
also tweet DAPs Magic or find Maddie on Twitter and ask her why Les Mis was in the notes.
Everyone, now, go. Command the
again.
internet.
That's yes. So another thing that's going to be going up tomorrow morning on DAPS is an article that's going to be on the best and worst of Star Wars.
Yes.
And the concept behind this is every Star Wars has a best moment and a worst moment, and everybody has a different opinion on what that is. So the three of us co-wrote this. Am I saying
Co-wrote.
it? And
Sounds like a planet.
and before we
Star Wars.
go into a little bit about this, Cameron has a very important PSA, right?
Yeah, a little public service announcement. Star Wars, in general, is good. Our fans, maybe not so much sometimes. Now, I would like to show you Exhibit A, which is why we need to be better. This is a Darth Vader lightsaber barbecue tongs.
Yes.
It is. It was given to me secondhand. It was given with no malice whatsoever. I'm opening up, which is something I don't normally do with boxes, because I feel it's very important for all of you at the table and you at home to see this. This is a full hilt lightsaber with sound effects, I believe. Yeah, look at that. Look, and it does that, right? And it comes.
I wish you could all see the faces in our audience right now.
It comes with like a sheathy do.
A sheathy do.
Yeah, like this.
Does it light up?
Two things about this. One, this is the stupidest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, it is.
Two, this might be the best thing you have ever seen in your life.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay? I'm using this as a metaphor. Ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars is capable of terrible things, but it's also one of the best things we have. To completely degrade or insult something that you disagree with on one level, say barbecue tongs, doesn't take away from the fact that this might be the coolest, stupidest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. Point being, fans, if you don't like something, that's okay. You still love Star Wars. Accept the thing that you don't necessarily like that much and look at it in a much more holistic picture. We have something amazing that is Star Wars. It is the modern American great hero story. No matter how stupid it is sometimes, in your opinion, I disagree, but no matter how stupid it is, it's still pretty cool.
My name's Cameron Jackson, and I approve this.
Mic dropped. All right. So that
Barbecue tongs, guys.
That was a perfect intro.
Dumb.
So the way this article is going to work is we literally went through all 10 Star Wars movies. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 9
11.
and 1 future.
Yeah. So we looked into the year 2000 and predicted what
11.
the future.
11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 and 1 future.
10 and 1 future. We went through 11 movies and predicted, and we predicted and judged the best and worst moments of all of these films. So the question I'm going to ask for best and worst tonight, best Star Wars film, worst Star Wars film.
Ooh.
And I actually think I know what Cameron's answer is going to be, just from a conversation we had earlier today.
You might not.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to put my
Just to give you
personal
time.
best Star Wars film is The Last Jedi.
Okay.
It is controversial to some, but there was more depth of story in that than any other Star Wars film, and they took some amazing risks that I feel paid off. Worst Star Wars film. It is a prequel, but I'm going to go with 2. I mean, it's going to be 2. 3 had some very, very, very cringy moments in it, but nothing will ever beat Do You Want to Buy Some Death Sticks? That ruined the entire film for me.
Or The Sand.
Or the Sand was in 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but more to the point, the problem with 2, even though it did have some moments I really, really enjoyed, was that if you take 2 out, 1 to 3 still kind of makes sense. Like, you don't miss a whole lot other than some dialogue.
Well, and to add on to what you're saying, and this is that's what I thought you were going to say.
Okay.
So I kind of in the back of my head already knew you were going to go with Last Jedi, and then after our conversation this morning, clearly 2 was the one, and really it's because all of us had a hard time coming up with answers for 2. It seemed like, and then as the more I was thinking about it, the reason it's kind of getting into this position is because the middle of the original trilogy, amazing.
Yeah.
The middle of this new trilogy, amazing.
In our opinion, yes.
Yes, the right opinion.
The correct opinion.
And it really comes down to those both really took you in a direction that you weren't expecting to go if you were seeing it for the first time. And then you go back to 2, and it took you exactly where you expected to go. And it took you not all the way that you knew he couldn't go all the way because you knew there was a third movie coming. It's like, well, he can't be Darth Vader yet because we still have one more movie. And there was nothing really unexpected about 2.
Yep. Now, that being said, I still love...
It's one of the best soundtracks.
If you're comparing outside of the Star Wars film, for example, Episode 2, better than Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's a little
And we're not
apples to
saying
oranges,
it's a terrible movie.
No,
we're just saying
the worst
it's
of them.
The worst
and
of
also
very
not
good
including
movies.
the holiday specials, otherwise I'd probably choose those.
I don't know. They're pretty awesome.
B. Arthur's in them.
So, best and worst. What are you going to go with?
So this is hard for me because I really love...
Did we all say worst is 2? Is that...
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So now just tell us your best.
Because I really love Empire, but my probable personal favorite that I could sit down and rewatch a million times, unsurprisingly, The Force Awakens.
Yeah. That was your first theatrical Star Wars, right?
Yep, and that was when, like, I was already in love with Star Wars. I already wanted my Millennium Falcon tattoo, but I saw that and I went, oh my god, and I was openly like crying, and not even like I obviously I cry a lot, duh, but Millennium Falcon came on screen and I cried. You would have thought that like I was raised as Star Wars my lifeblood because of how much that scene impacted me. And that for that reason, The Force Awakens just holds a really, really special place in my heart, that it's my favorite.
There's something really cool about seeing Star Wars on the big screen for the first time. Like, it's almost impossible to overcome that.
Well, for me, it was Phantom Menace, and it holds a special place for me because of that.
I just got lucky that they re-released the originals before they put out the prequels. I think I'm gonna agree with Cameron and go with Last Jedi is the best. I was very close to picking Empire. Like, it kind of... I mean, I could waffle any given minute. However, with repeated viewings of Last Jedi, I feel like it just keeps getting better and better.
So much in that movie.
And I keep picking up more and more. And even though there are a few faults, and I would say that Empire is a more perfect movie, there's more risk in Last Jedi. And that's what I would go with for that one. So basically, we did things like that. There's about 2 or 3 sentences per best and worst from each of us on each movie. Check it out. Let us know what you think. If we're right, wrong, leave it in the comments of that article.
I put a meme in mine, so
it'll be really
you should
good.
read mine for the memes.
She referenced a meme, and I was sure to include the video evidence of said meme directly afterwards.
Because it's my favorite Star Wars meme
so good
to ever exist. So
Yes.
So read the article tomorrow to find out what it is. And then
Mike says that best is episode 6, worst is episode 3.
Huh.
That's it.
Fair opinion.
I actually,
It's
I could
over, Mike.
I could see
I
6
have the
being.
high
I
ground.
think a lot of people 6 is their favorite, and
fair.
it really is a fantastic movie. And 3, I could see an argument for. I could see an argument for that. I could see an argument for Rogue One. I think you could make a fairly strong argument for. Some people would say Solo. I don't actually see that as much with repeated views, but
well, I realized as we're going through this process, that each movie has an element that I like better than all of the other movies about it. For example, we just mentioned 6. It's not in my top 3, but it's my favorite costume design of any of the films.
and it has one of the best scenes of all of Star Wars. When you think of that Luke, Darth Vader, Emperor
so
moment,
good.
like it's gorgeous, it's terrifying, it's really the struggle between the the light and the dark side, and it's great.
Point being, though, if 6 is my favorite costume design, you think about all the ridiculousness in costume design over the course of the Star Wars film. There's simplicity in that one, and it's so for completely different reasons. I like some of these elements more. Point being that all of the Star Wars films have something really valuable to them. They contribute to the zeitgeist in whole.
Yep. Moving forward, the Disney streaming service is continuing to get closer and closer, and one of the things that came out that hopefully will show up on Disney streaming service would be a potential Loki TV show and a Scarlet Witch TV show. Very quickly, what do you think about the idea of taking Avengers that don't have a movie and giving them a TV program?
I am excited.
Let's hope it ends up being true.
Let's hope it ends up being true. Especially because I don't think it's diminishing the character values in any way. I just think if we try to give everyone a movie, there's just not time for that, and we also have to remember that actors aren't their age forever.
And it might get old.
Yeah, and you don't want to rush out to see a movie every 3 months and whatever. So I think a television show is sometimes, depending on the story they want to tell, a better way to tell that story. So,
and you bring up a good point. There's 2 benefits to television, which are long form and episodic. Long form, I think Loki will play into a lot more. You can get a lot more into the intricacies of Norse rule and being an outcast. That would be a great long form story to see over many episodes. Episodic, I'm almost thinking like a Supernatural-esque style show for Scarlet Witch. Just so you can incorporate a ton more of the tertiary Marvel characters into things. Because I can see episode by episode bringing up these characters that might be fan favorites but would never stand to actually be in a film.
yeah.
Can you imagine how much money they're going to spend on these?
Oh, they're gonna, but they're gonna make it back. Like, that's not a good question.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. Not Scary Farm was this last week.
Yeah.
We were there opening night. Cameron's been there before. To be completely honest, there wasn't a whole lot of difference, but there was a couple new mazes, a new scare zone. Tyler's shaking his hands like yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It'll be back in great numbers.
Exactly. So what's your favorite thing about Not Scary Farm as we move into the Halloween season in full force right now?
The inaccuracy of the name. It is in fact very scary.
Okay. Katie?
Did I mention the barbecue lightsaber talks?
Barbecue
Okay,
lightsaber
cool.
songs.
Nice.
I just like, there's kind of like a camaraderie in everyone getting scared together that I think is really fun. I'm sure that I have witnessed it where people will just grab random strangers because they get scared by a monster, because they're just like, we're all in this together, like, hello random stranger. Ah! So I just think that there's
We're meeting now for the first time.
Were you? There's an invisible wall, you can't see it.
What was your favorite scare zone this year?
Ooh, Forsaken Lake. That's what it's called.
Cool. Yeah, I actually thought that was really cool.
It has
a show
really
moment. Well, multiple show moments.
Show moments. It has a story, which a lot of them, I'm sure they all have stories, but some of them are just kind of like, scary clowns. Ooh, gotcha. Ooh. Ooh, I bet
We
you.
love our scary clowns.
Scary clowns.
We do love
monarchy.
We do love our scary clowns. But Forsaken Lake has a and if you watch the show moment, it's part of it. But there's a whole backstory, and there's a lot of purpose to the scares, and I really enjoyed the storytelling element to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then your favorite moment of the night?
Easy. So we were
I'm glad it was easy.
so easy. We were all standing in a circle.
There was a pentagram
in
the
a
crowd.
scare zone.
In a scare zone.
Which is always a good idea, right?
It's so good. So we were right in the right at the entrance to the clown scare zone, basically. And I was gesturing wildly and talking, and I looked to my left, and there's a clown making fun of me, obviously. And then they walk away because they were bored with me. And then a new clown comes around, and they go behind Mr. Daps. Mr. Daps does not see them. And then we all go,
I felt them.
hello. And he said, smell my tie. And he stuck his tie out, put it in Mr. Dapp's face. And Mr. Dapp goes, it's a tie. And he goes, smell it. Smell my tie. And he's like, it's a tie.
I said it smells like a tie.
All of us said, Mr.
Polyester.
Or we all said, he's boring. Like, you're not going to get anything out of him. We didn't say his name. We said, he's boring. Just, like, we're sorry. Like, you're not going to scare him. And he's like, And he, like, stomps off. And he
I'm
goes,
there to report on the facts.
that
Anyway,
his tie
keep going.
smells like a tie.
It did.
So he stomps away. And over his shoulder, he goes, fine, Mr. Daps. And then continues to stomp away.
Like, fine, Mr. Daps!
Yeah.
That was it.
And
That was the
I
best part.
screamed. Like, I screamed. And Mr. Daps was like, huh?
Was this a slightly shorter clown with a little bit longer dreads?
No.
No,
Oh, I don't know this clown.
you do not.
So,
Who's this clown?
who's this clown? That's Tyler.
Waka
but-
waka.
I know the
Who's
red
that
hair gets
guy?
confusing. But yeah, so it was easily my favorite. And we talked about it, and yeah, that was amazing.
The clowns really are fun to watch, though, because at the end of the night, we all met at hang time, and it was so fun watching the clowns, like, coming up to people and sliding up to
I
people.
was gonna say, can I
and-
talk about the best scare we saw all night?
Which one was that?
Someone was we were sitting on a bench. Someone was standing with their feet apart, and a clown got on the ground on their back. They scooted backwards, went between their legs, and went, ah! And they, like, screamed at them. And it was the most dedicated scare I've ever seen in my life.
Can I talk about the one that had the blow up, the balloon that came behind and just went really loudly?
That was really loud. Yeah. It surprised me, though, because that was probably my favorite, like, watching the scares happen zone. And usually I would say my favorite watching scares is in Ghost Town. Like, it's
It's
the
fun.
atmosphere. Like, that's always my favorite. And this year I was like, no, I think the clowns won at the scare game. Like, they were
funny and were giving good scares.
they were really funny. Yeah. Disneyland also started its Halloween celebration this last week with its
No clowns.
parties that are all sold out.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? They
Yeah.
were sold out before they began.
bananas.
And we've got videos up. We're not going to talk really too much about it tonight because time is running short. But what is your favorite entertainment offering at the Halloween party, Mickey's Halloween party?
Parade.
Parade?
Fireworks.
Fireworks?
Yeah.
I think fireworks for me too.
Yeah.
I just think they're brilliant, and I miss when they used to be every night instead of just
Yeah.
Halloween
Just
parties.
yeah.
But I was shocked at how quickly all of the parties were gone.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't get tickets, you can go to youtube.com/dapsmagic, and you can see the Halloween elements on videos. And we're continuing to put live streams up every week, and we're doing Sundays with Daps a little bit different now, and we're doing live streams throughout the day in the parks, and then also doing our Sundays with Daps video.
It's very fancy.
We're
Come
just
hang
trying
out with
to
us.
we're
We're
trying to
fun.
mix it up. It's fun.
We're
Yeah.
fun.
We're
It's
fun. We
fun.
have fun mom energy.
Fun mom and energy.
This would be a good room for an office or, a nursery.
It's fun mom energy. You know?
Okay. I think we're running out of time.
You should go to thegeekscorner.com. That's thegeekscorner.com for more whatever this is.
You should go to dapsmagic.com, check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens, subscribe to our mailing list, and find out how to become a Daps Magic Maker.
And while you're over there, shoot us some messages, whatever you want to do on social media, and let us know what you think we should start our 9th season off with next week, and we will try to do it. It's kind of crazy. from a show that we're like, we'll come up with a better name later to 9.
I remember being part of that discussion.
That's
Yeah,
I do.
bizarre.
You remember? Maria?
Yeah, remember
That's
that?
Crazy.
Well, some people remember.
Remember
but
DAPs?
anyway, that's
DAPs?
all the time we have for you this week. Make sure to
fun.
subscribe to this channel. Find us on social media. Hashtag Geeks Corner throughout the week. We'd love to continue the conversation. But for now, we'll see you around the corner.
Bye.